You know, everyone's chasing that $10,000 a month dream, right? But let's be real, there's so much noise out there, so much BS that makes it sound way easier than it actually is. I've been there. From 17 to 24, I struggled, trying to figure things out. It wasn't until I truly cracked the code that I hit my first $10,000 a month. And I'm here to tell you, it's not some magic bullet, but there are 5 core steps you absolutely need to take. Step 1. Pick the right business model. This is huge, folks. Choosing the right business model can feel like the difference between fighting a headwind that pushes you backward and catching a powerful tailwind that propels you forward. I've spent the last 12 months deep diving into all sorts of industries and business models, and I've narrowed it down to the top 4 for 2025. First up, we have product businesses with a sweet 50% to 60% gross margin. Think about it. If you buy something for $1 and sell it for $5, that's a $4 gross margin. You definitely want to avoid businesses with low margins, like restaurants. Stay away from those unless you love working for pennies. A product business is essentially finding a product or widget people are already buying, putting your unique spin on it, and selling it online. This is where all the e-commerce, dropshipping, and micro-brand magic happens. What makes it one of the best? You can often sell products without ever building them, taking possession of them, or even fulfilling them yourself. It's almost like a set it and forget it model once you have your systems in place. Next, we have the agency model, typically rocking 60% to 70% margins. This is where you identify a problem your customers have, productize your service to solve it, and then deliver on that promise. We're talking copywriting agencies, marketing agencies, e-commerce agencies, even AI, automation agencies. Agencies are incredibly powerful because they're arguably the easiest business to start. You find a customer who needs leads, you sell them lead generation services, and then you go find someone who can actually do the work on the back end. It's about connecting the dots and solving real problems for businesses. My personal favorite, and the one with the highest margins outside of software, is consulting at 70% to 80%. If you truly know your stuff, you can walk into a business, analyze their data, and provide a report or direction to solve their problems. The beauty here is that they can either implement your recommendations internally or hire someone else to do the work. You don't have to do the heavy lifting of execution. This is a phenomenal business, especially if you have deep industry experience and can bring a fresh, expert perspective. Finally, we have SaaS, which stands for Software as a Service. This is my world, what I've pretty much done my entire life, and it boasts incredible 80% to 90% margins. This is actually the model I used to hit my first $10,000 a month back when I was 24. What I absolutely love about software is that you build it once, and then you can sell it 1,000,000 times for the same price. Once it's built, the cost to replicate it is virtually zero. That scalability is what makes it so incredibly profitable. Step 2. Build a 6-figure skill. But here's the thing. Picking the right business model means nothing if you can't actually do the work or find someone who can. That brings us to step 2. You need to build a 6-figure skill. My first 6-figure skill was learning how to write computer code. And it's a wild story because I learned it in rehab. Yeah, you heard that right. When I was 16 or 17, I got myself into some trouble, ended up with an addiction, and had to spend 11 months truly working on myself, not just to get sober, but to become a better version of myself. It was at the end of that experience that I discovered coding, and I just fell in love. Some of you might have that passion for something, and you're worried about working too much. Don't be. If you're genuinely into it, go all in, because that's what made me great at what I do. So, what are the most in-demand skills you can build to earn a 6-figure income in 2025? Number 1 is coding. I know it might sound daunting if you've never programmed before, but honestly, with all the online tools and apps available today, it's becoming incredibly simple. It practically writes itself. Second is video editing. Think about it. Media and personal brands are exploding. Every product company is becoming a media company, and every media company is becoming a product company. And guess what they all need? Video editors. My 12-year-old son has been editing videos for his friends for years now, getting paid to create clips and edit their YouTube channels. It's something anyone can learn. The tools are out there, and it's not nearly as hard as you might think. Third, copywriting. Words sell. Stories sell. The cool thing about copywriting, and why I believe it's one of the best skills to learn, is that it's a meta skill. understanding how to persuade, communicate, and demonstrate value through the written word is invaluable. Even with AI doing a lot of the heavy lifting these days, great copywriters are still some of the highest paid people in the world because they know how to generate revenue with their craft. Number 4 is sales, or more specifically, chat sales. I have dozens of friends today who make $1 million a year in commissions just selling over chat. No funnels, no webinars, no calls, just chat. Understanding the psychology of a sales conversation over chat, getting people to purchase without ever talking to anyone, is a game changer. Sales is another one of those meta skills that, if you master it, you can make 6 figures, and that understanding will benefit you in every interaction for the rest of your life. Finally, AI automation. This is the new hotness, folks. I just got added to a community led by a friend of mine, and there are 14,000 people in there learning this skill. It's growing like crazy. And here's the kicker. If you ask 100 business owners if they're doing AI right now, most will say, "Oh, I use ChatGPT." That's not AI automation. If you want a skill that will future-proof your career and set you up for massive success, AI automation is the one you want to pursue. Step 3. Sell before you build. Now, if you truly want to get to $10,000 a month, skill alone isn't going to put money in your pocket. That brings us to step 3. Sell before you build. I was such an idiot. Every time I started a new business, I'd go off and build a ton of stuff, and then I'd see if anyone wanted to buy it. The problem is, people are nice. They'd say, "Oh yeah, if you build that, I'll totally buy it." So I'd sit there, coding and building these apps, and then I'd show it to them, and they wouldn't buy. I'd be like, "But you said it was a good idea. You said I should build it." And they just shrug and say, "Yeah, you should. I'm just busy right now." Do you know how many people buy hundreds of thousands of dollars of inventory only to realize they have no customers? Sell before you build. It's the winning recipe. You won't get to $10,000 a month if you can't collect payment before you do the work. What's interesting is that what I'm about to share with you is something you're going to have to learn to do anyway, whether you have a product or you're building one. So you might as well do the hard thing first so you don't find out nobody wants to buy it later. So, how do you pre-sell? First, find your customers. I always ask myself, who has my list? Where are they hiding? Who has the problem that I solve with my product or service? And how do I get in front of them? That's where you need to start. Second, you've got to sell the opportunity. Whatever you're selling, you need to understand how to communicate its value and demonstrate it in a way that makes people go, "Wow, that's amazing." I think we need that. And third, learn to collect payment. Get comfortable asking for money, whether it's 50% upfront as a deposit or the whole payment upfront for the year. Whatever you do, ask for the card. If you didn't sell something, you didn't become an entrepreneur. That's how you get to $10,000 a month, by actually collecting payment. It always reminds me of that quote, "A closed mouth will never get fed." If you're not asking, if you're not communicating your value, you're never going to get paid. Step 4. Automate your delivery. Now that you've gotten paid, you've got to deliver on your promise. This brings us to step 4. Automate your delivery. I have a client in my community who, when he started with me, was doing $11,000 a month. Last week alone, he collected $35,000, and he's freaking out. Why? Because now he has to do all the work. He got really good at marketing and selling, and now he's overwhelmed because he's hiring his first employee and has all this work to deliver. He didn't sit down and workflow the automation of actually delivering the product or service. You don't want to mess this up. Your reputation is built on the feeling and the promise you deliver to a customer. So, here's how we automate delivery in our business. Number 1, we simplify our offer. Elon Musk has this great framework for engineering and creating things, and his first rule of 5 is remove anything that's not needed. A lot of people sell whatever the customer asks for because they're just trying to get paid. What you want to do is figure out the simplest form of what your offer or product is and stick to that. Don't add anything extra. Keep it simple. Number 2 is to engineer success. Here's a great question my buddy Dean Jackson often asks. How would you design your product or service if you only got paid if the customer was successful with your thing? When you ask yourself that, you start engineering success. You're starting with the end in mind, making sure that when the customer starts working with you, the result is almost guaranteed. You want to make those things non-negotiable for both you and the customer so that everybody wins. For example, in my fitness program, clients have to do a 16-day cleanse when they start. It's non-negotiable. Guess what? That sets them up to build momentum, which almost guarantees they're going to lose weight. Number 3 is to implement AI. The truth is, any workflow, from the first intake form you ask customers to fill out, to support calls, to emails, to payment systems, AI is stepping up and taking care of automating the entire process. Embrace it. Step 5. Buy back your time. Those first 4 steps will definitely help you get to that magical $10,000 a month. But this next one is what's going to help you blow right past it. This brings us to step 5. Buy back your time. When I started my first successful business that got me to that first $10,000, I was working 100 hours a week. The reason? I didn't know what process I should be following to be more productive. I just knew one thing: get things done. I was all in, working all the time, because I was worried that if I stopped, the whole thing would collapse. The truth is, millionaires build systems, but billionaires build people. I thought if I just kept saving all my money, someday I'd become a millionaire. I didn't realize that millionaires understood how to build systems, but billionaires built people to actually buy back their time. That's why I created the buyback loop. It's the process I use 3 or 4 times a year to analyze my calendar, figure out if my time is being efficient, and then reinvest that time to grow my business. So, step 1 is to audit your calendar. It has everything you need to understand. Is this high leverage? Can somebody else do it? Does it drain my energy or give me energy? Activities that cost me very little money to pay someone else to do, but suck my energy, are things I shouldn't be doing. That's the bucket of activities where I hire a contractor or a full-time employee to take them off my plate. Step 2 is to transfer. This is all about taking those low-leverage, time-sucking activities and giving them to someone else. I use the camcorder method, which I detail in my book. I literally record myself doing the work, then upload it to AI, so it creates the playbook. Then, when I hire the person, they have the recording plus the playbook they can follow to do the work exactly the way I did it. Step 3 is to fill. This is all about looking for things that give me energy and that make me money. If I buy back my time for a little bit of money and then reinvest that in activities like marketing, sales, and hiring great people, then I'm going to make more money. That trade is incredibly efficient. Buying back your time just to hang out on a beach and do nothing will not make you rich. So, here's what I know. If you've made it to the end of this, I have no doubt that you're going to make your first $10,000 a month. But the truth is, it's going to require you to stick with your plan, not get deviated, not go chasing a bunch of different things, and not constantly worry, am I doing the right thing? It's not about doing the right thing. It's about making a decision and then making that decision right. You follow this process, focus, follow one course until successful, and you will make $10,000 a month. Now, if you want to learn how I went from $0 to $1 million in 12 months, there's another video for that. I'll see you on the other side.